We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. I just got off work. It's 7:05 a.m. Basically, though, I wanted to do a podcast tonight. I have reached, literally, once again, the highest number of subscribers. So hopefully everyone hangs in there and actually stays with this channel. I cannot promise how often I can post because I work like crazy. I do have another podcast episode, well, actually 2 podcast episodes planned for Conspiracy Corner Podcast that'll come out on this channel. You can also check us out on, let's see, well, I can't find the paper she gave me, but we are on Spotify. You can check us out on Spotify. And if you have the type of job to where you can listen to like podcasts and stuff while you work, kind of like me, where I'm a night stalker, or if honestly on your free time, if you just enjoy listening to podcasts and you listen to podcasts on Spotify, subscribe to us on, obviously, Conspiracy Corner Podcast on Spotify. And if you listen to us through there, we actually make a penny for every time someone listens, we make a penny. And I know it ain't much, but it adds up after a while, you know. And we need some equipment. We have 2 microphones, but we need a splicer, so that's my next thing on the list that we're going to get. But yeah. So I usually start out each podcast kind of letting people know what's going on in life. Sammy's on vacation this week. So she's been putting out, stuff for the Spotify. And basically what it is what she is putting out for the Spotify is it's like nothing that you would miss from YouTube. It's just backlog stuff of like me making a video, kind of just going on and on and on, and it goes past like it's all conspiracy related, but it's anything that made it past the 30-minute mark. For me, I believe like if you're doing a podcast, it needs to be at least 30 minutes long. So anything that makes it past the 30-minute mark, she's been editing it and posting it as a Conspiracy Corner Podcast episode, as long as it's conspiracy related or spirituality or something along those lines. Because I believe it all ties together. Kind of like what Sam Tripoli said. He invented the word conspirituality, and I love it, man. I always try to give him credit, but that's a nice word, man. It makes sense too. It's not conspiracy theory, and it's not spirituality. It's conspirituality. But so she's been throwing out episodes on there. I've just been working like crazy. We finally saved up enough money to get a washer and dryer. And where we hit a high score on subscribers, I'm going to uh, invest in a splicer. Hopefully, I'll talk to her today, sometime today, and I'll have her order one from eBay so that way we can go ahead and get this podcast rolling, in a better direction, better quality direction as far as like audio and stuff. Um, but yeah, I've been talking to uh, some new subs that we have gained in the past like month or so. That's the thing, man. If you guys like hit me up in the comment section, I'll sit here and talk to you for hours. I don't care, man. It doesn't bother me. Uh, I know like a lot of YouTubers and stuff, they don't really talk to people enough. Especially like the bigger ones. I don't know if it's ego or I mean the only ones like that have ever actually like spoke to me in chats and stuff is like Bishop Larry Gators. Um, I got to talk to him a little bit. Elusive Truths is a new channel that I subbed to. He spoke to me before. As crazy as it sounds, like Shoe Nice. um, yeah, just very rarely does an actual YouTuber actually talk to his fans, and it's kind of sad. But guys, hit me up in the comments, man. I love talking to y'all. Now if you act a fool and you start trolling in my comment section, I'll cuss you out, man. But the thing is people they think just because I'm cussing at them that they're winning. It's like I'm not mad on the other side of the screen. I'm actually laughing at you, but I got a mouth like a sailor, and I have no problem cussing someone. As far as updates for the channel, I'm just gonna put out a poetry poem like here and there, depending on how I feel. After I finish the rest of this Jim Morrison poetry book, I'm gonna switch over to something maybe like Alice in Wonderland poems or Edgar Allan Poe or J.R.R. Tolkien, something like that. It's just it makes for like a quick little video that I like when I don't have much energy or much time, I can put it out. And I don't know, I like poetry. Um, like I said, for the YouTube channel, it focuses on just everyday parts of life, mostly conspiracy theories, but it focuses on a little bit of everything. Um, let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Me and Sammy, there's a place we're wanting to go to, like a little nature trail. We might film a little hiking video, but it's getting close to the changing of the seasons, and there's a hurricane going on, which is affecting the weather here in Kentucky. So I'm not sure. Uh, it's so crazy too working third shift. Like I don't know if there's any listener out there, but when you work third shift, like you have like no life, and it's horrible. Um, but yeah, today we are going to be hitting on like a heavier, more conspiracy rabbit hole type stuff. Usually when I do conspiracy stuff with Sammy, she likes to focus on more like the paranormal, more of like the more upbeat conspiracy theories. I usually focus on the negative stuff because I feel like as crazy as I am, I handle it. Um, I delve into the dark corners of conspiracy, and she kind of keeps on the lighthearted side. And honestly, I don't mind keeping it that way because one of us has to be sane, you know. um, and honestly, like I hate to see people lose innocence, and she's always been like a very innocent person. I mean, she was a virgin up until like 25 years old. When we first got together, I was 24, she was 25, and still a virgin. So I mean, she's a very innocent person, and I don't know. I kind of baby her when it comes to that. That I don't. I tell her about stuff, the dark stuff, but then she'll tell me like if it's getting too dark or too crazy, she'll be like, "Honey, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it." And I don't blame her, because it does mess with you, But today we're going to be talking about the Illuminati. Now, this is a term which drives me insane that people just throw around. They go, they're the Illuminati, they're the Illuminati. And it's almost become a generic term now. I use the term when I'm talking about like the global elite. I'll speak about the global elite. You know, the people who run this world, whether it be flat or round or a computer simulation. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to find out until we're dead, if we even find out then. But whatever realm we live in, there is a global elite who control it, and everyone gives them that generic term of the Illuminati, and that's always bothered me. And I've kind of gotten in like not a argument, but I've kind of somebody tried to correct me. We shouldn't call them the elite, because we are the elite. And I was like, well, no, I kind of disagree with you. Like, I don't think we should be boasting about ourselves, calling ourselves the elite. I think that we should refer to ourselves in more humble tones, more humble terms. We should be humble. I mean, I believe that's what Jesus said. You know, the meek shall inherit the earth. I don't think we should be walking around with an elitist attitude. Otherwise, we are no better than they are. But I refer to them as the elite because that's what they believe. Unless I'm actually specifically speaking about the Illuminati. Now, because there is a real Illuminati. And honestly, if you've been turned off by now already on this podcast, then no offense, you have swallowed the blue pill. There's no saving it. Because a lot of people get turned off by that word, the Illuminati. But there actually, historically, factually, was an Illuminati. And yeah, historical fact. It's not a conspiracy. There was an Illuminati. And that's what we're going to delve into, is the origin of the Illuminati and the history of the Illuminati. The Illuminati. Today's conspiracy theorists see the Illuminati as diabolical and controlling, warning that the organization has infiltrated governments across the planet. The Illuminati, Latin for the Enlightened Ones, was founded in the southern German state of Bavaria on May 1st, 1776. So May Day, 1776. By religious law professor Adam Weishaupt. Dissatisfied with the workings of government, the 20-year-old educator believed that the illumination or enlightenment society would become more orderly with improved efficiency. To achieve his lofty goals, Weishaupt set out to form a group based on rational thought and scientific research. He intentionally incorporated mysticism into his plans to make his group seem more appealing and mysterious to prospective members than other progressive political organizations. Weishaupt studiously drew up plans for his organization, which was loosely based on the Freemasons' ranking and file system classes and orders. Okay, now this is like material that I'm reading from. Reading from literally the historical side of it, what they would have us believe. Now they're not going to mention. I guarantee you they're not going to mention in this source material that George Washington was a Freemason, and there's letters found of him writing to other people, basically saying, hey, there's this group called the Illuminati. I've heard they infiltrated Freemasonry. So, my honest belief is that the original Freemasons were actually good men. And before you shut this off, actually do some research, because I'm not a Freemason. I have family members who are Freemasons, and honestly, the ones who are Freemasons, there's some sketchy ones, there's some evil, satanic, sketchy ones, but there's also like good men, you know? I mean, Freemasonry, when you join it, they literally say it's to make good men better. And I think that my personal theory is that the original, most purest form of Freemasonry was actually a very good and positive thing. But what happened, why Freemasonry went off the rails, is it got infiltrated by the Illuminati. That's what happened. That's where Freemasonry went wrong. And I believe that there's an internal war going on within Freemasonry. That there are those OG Freemasons who believe in the old Freemason original teachings and lessons, and they're fighting and trying to figure out who within the Freemason Brotherhood is Illuminati, basically. That it's an internal war. You see what I'm saying? Is it making sense now? So don't automatically, anytime you see a Freemason, just automatically be like, oh, fuck them, you know, they're pieces of shit. They're sacrificing kids, they're satanic. That doesn't mean that, man. A lot of the teachings got warped throughout the years. I believe it's an internal war in a secret society that we don't see. And I wish that people would grasp that, you know? I mean, I have met Freemasons who I would die for, you know? And then I've met some of them who I'm like, wow, you're an Illuminati piece of shit. And like I said, I'm not a Freemason, so that's a little history that they're not going to tell you in this source material. Weishaupt studiously drew up plans for, okay, let's see, rankings. So he basically copied Freemasonry. He would closely oversee the training of new members, and in time would reveal to them special occult knowledge as they advanced through the ranks of the Illuminati. His first recruits were 4 law students. Each of the 5 men adopted an alias. Weishaupt chose the name Spartacus. That was his alias. I am Spartacus. At first, the Illuminati grew slowly. By 1779, there were only 54 members. The order had little, if any, effect on the German government. The group's fortunes improved. However, when Weishaupt recruited Baron Adolf Freiherr von Nigg, sorry, I'm sure I butchered that. The Baron was a highly respected diplomat and master mason occultist with connections to numerous secret societies. Weishaupt tasked von Nigg, who took the name Philo, to use his influence to attract new members, which he did with alarming success. By the way, little side note, a lot of these people who are in secret societies, they're in multiple secret societies. Like I've studied Aleister Crowley for years, just out of curiosity and just out of knowledge in general. Aleister Crowley was literally a 33rd degree Freemason, but he was also in other secret societies. Like, a lot of people don't know that Order of the Eastern Star, they're like a branch of Freemasonry. Order of the Golden Dawn, you know, so he had already worked his steps up in the Order of the Golden Dawn. So like they just bumped him up to 33rd degree, you know. Most of these people who are in like Freemasonry, they're members of other secret societies, you know. Von Nigg recruited leading Freemasons, royalty, and powerful politicians into the group, including Duke Ferdinand of Brunswick, a towering figure in European Freemasonry, and the writer and statesman Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. By 1784, membership had swelled to more than 3,000 believers, with lodges in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, and other locations. Weishaupt turned out to be quite the control freak. He made prospective members undergo secret rites, wearing outlandish costumes to participate in perpetual outrageous ceremonies. He permitted himself to be seen only by the highest ranking members of the group, further adding to his air of mystery. Uh, his bizarre methodology, however, worked. The organization gained power in Germany political life, and from behind the scenes its members planned the overthrow of the Catholic Church and the establishment of democratic republicanism to replace the monarchic state. So honestly, that doesn't like the initial Illuminati didn't sound like a bad plan. They were going to overthrow the Catholic Church, the Vatican, which is anyone who is still Catholic to this day. Like, I get it. It's freedom of religion. You can believe what you want. I'm not bashing you. But as someone who, was a Christian and honestly suffered religious abuse, I do not understand how you could be a member of the Catholic Church, knowing with all the evidence out there that the Vatican and the Catholic Church is literally the biggest child sex trafficking ring out in the open, and it's still out there. And people are still members, and I I don't get it though. How people are still members, and how I'm sure to this day it's still gaining membership. I'm sure, but yeah. So as far as them destroying the Catholic Church, that's to me is a awesome fucking agenda. As far as destroying the monarchy and bringing about democratic republicanism, that sounds fucking awesome. You know, and a lot of people don't realize is the Illuminati pretty much started off the French Revolution and the American Revolution. So like even the Illuminati, their intentions were good. I'm not saying I'm Illuminati. I'm not saying I'm a Freemason. I'm just presenting it and and questioning and being devil's advocate. Just as success seemed within reach, Weishaupt and von Nigg had a serious falling out over Weishaupt's overbearing style of control and management. Nigg left the group in 1784. The same year, rumblings about covert plots by the Illuminati against church and state began to brew in Bavaria. To worsen matters, disillusioned former members who were not provided with the higher special occult knowledge Weishaupt had promised then began to speak out publicly against the group. In June 1784, Karl Theodor, the Prince Elector and Duke of Bavaria, outlawed all secret societies in his domains. The following year, the Duke issued an edict banning the Illuminati specifically. An investigation was launched to eradicate Illuminati influence in the government, church, and military. Weishaupt bolted for the neighboring province of Saxony, hoping the further would pass. The hubbub did not pass, and by 1787 the government had completely shut down the Illuminati. Weishaupt faded into the dustbin of history. Some historians claim his ideas regarding political and religious reform in Europe found their consummation in the French Revolution of 1789 and beyond, notably the Christianization of France. So here's a little Illuminati hierarchy as far as their hierarchy, their pyramid. Adam Weishaupt, model for his New World Order, designated 3 basic grades: Novacate, Minerval, and Illuminated Minerval, a hierarchy denoting increasing knowledge of alleged mysticism. In January 1782, Baron von Nigg, with Weishaupt's blessing, rewrote the system into 3 expanded classes. Class 1, the so-called nursery, quote unquote, consisting of Novacate, Minerval, the Illuminus Minor. Class 2, the Masonic grades, the Blue Lodge, grades of apprentice, companion, and master, separated from the higher Scottish grades of the Scottish novice and Scottish knight. Class 3, the mysteries, consisting of priest and prince, followed by the greater mysteries of mage and king. These are the Illuminati and the Founding Fathers. In 1798, George Washington, then a private citizen and once Master Mason, received a letter and a copy of John Robinson's Proof of a Conspiracy Against All Religions and Governments of Europe, carried on in secret meetings of Freemasons, Illuminati, and reading societies, is what it was titled, from G.W. Snyder, Fredericktown, Maryland. In his letter, Snyder expressed concern of... There we go. Actually, no, they did get into it. That's good. So here's what I was talking about earlier. I know my shit. That's awesome though. I haven't read this in like years, so. Snyder expressed concern that some of the Masonic lodges in America might have caught the infection of the Illuminati's plan to overturn all government and all religion, even natural. He beseeched Washington to find it within your power to prevent the horrid plan from corrupting the brethren of the English Lodge over which you preside. By the way, the Blue Lodge, the English Lodge, is like just a little hint, just because I know a lot of Freemasons and I've poked at them and drilled them about this shit. The Blue Lodge is the English Lodge, which is basically like, honestly, a rushed, shitty version of Freemasonry. The Scottish Rite is a more drawn out, longer version to get higher up in the degrees, but you learn more in it. Let's see. Might have caught infection of the Illuminati. In response, Washington claimed, I have heard much of the nefarious and dangerous plan and doctrines of the Illuminati. The fact is, I preside over none lodges. I believe, notwithstanding, that none of the lodges in this country are contaminated with the principles described in the Society of the Illuminati. In a letter to Snyder, Washington clarified his position, writing, It was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati had not spread in the United States. On the contrary, no one is more truly satisfied than I am. The idea that I meant to convey this was that I did not believe that the lodges of Freemason in this country had, as societies, endeavored to propagate the diabolical tenets. Now, that's up to you to decide. I've seen the Baphomet statue of Washington. I mean, he's on the dollar bill. You've seen all the symbolism in the dollar bill. I should hope you keep up with the channel, and I've taught that, so check that out. What do you think? That's up for you to decide if Washington was a secret member of the Illuminati and covering for the Illuminati in these letters, and he had already infiltrated the American branch of the Freemasons. You decide. By the late 1780s, Thomas Jefferson was accused of belonging to the mysterious secret society. Some said he was a member of an Illuminati lodge in Portsmouth, Virginia, and he had helped the group to infiltrate Masonic lodges in New England. In about 1807, John Quincy Adams, a Mason who later became the 6th President of the United States in 1825, accused Jefferson in writing of using Masonic lodges for subversive Illuminati purposes. There is no direct evidence that Jefferson was a member of the group. In a letter he dated January 31st, 1800, he said, "A certain book about conspiracies sent to him gives me the first idea I have ever had of what I meant by the Illuminism." Now, this is a different source, but we're getting close to the 30-minute mark, and I don't want to get completely into Freemasonry and the Golden Dawn. And I think I'm going to honestly make an individual episode for each one of these secret societies in the order of how they tie in together. Next episode will most likely be Freemasonry. But I have a little small article that I'm going to put out there for you all. And yeah, this is a different source. So modern fiction and motion pictures have created the impression that the group known as the Illuminati, or the aka Enlightened Ones, was a secret society with lofty ideals but sinister deeds. But in reality, the original Illuminati was simply an offshoot of the Enlightenment movement in its response against the dominant role of the church in European society. By the way, the illumination, and the enlightenment, the enlightened, that term all goes back to Prometheus, aka Lucifer. Now, if you keep up with the channel, I'm sure you've already heard that episode, but if you're new to the channel, check out a further back Conspiracy Corner podcast episode of Lucifer, aka Prometheus, and you'll learn a different side of Lucifer from more of the Greek mystery school side of it. Maybe even a little bit of ancient astronaut theory. It all ties together. It's different sides to every story. So many philosophers believe that the Enlightenment offered a unique opportunity to recalculate the purpose of humankind's existence. These thinkers did not reject the idea of a God, but believed that the rational thought was the key to understanding the human universe. English writers such as Lord Herbert of Cherbury and Matthew Tyndall argued that although God created the universe, he did not intervene in human affairs. Having given human beings the gift of reason, as well as a spark of the divine within, God let humankind run its course. Similar ideas, with which had their roots in Christian Gnosticism, resonated with German philosopher called Adam Weishaupt, professor of canon law at the Bavarian University in Ingolstadt. Like his English colleagues, Weishaupt believed in the perfectibility of humankind. So he's a perfectionist, psychologically, on a psychological level. That through the agency of reason, human beings could progress and achieve a state of perfection in communion with the divine. A little side note here. If you actually study like tarot, that's one of the big things on tarot is they keep preaching that tarot is the key to perfectionism, to become perfect, almost godlike. Perfectionism equals godliness, that you become basically a god, lowercase g, of course, but because if you know the future, if you know what's coming, you can avoid it, and your life almost becomes perfect. And if you read the cards right, they can be, your life can almost become perfect. Let's see. In 1776, yeah, that's getting into that. Well, I don't know. This is saying something a little bit different. In 1776, Weishaupt formed a society known as the Illuminati. It is not clear whether he was aware of other similar surrounding societies. Founded in 15th century Spain on the eve of the Reformation, these include the Illuminados, enlightened ones, and the Alumbrados, out of the shadows, for which the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius Loyola, I'm sorry, I probably butchered that, was believed to have considerable sympathy. Weishaupt Society enjoyed a modest following throughout the 18th century, attracting such members as the famous Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, partly by taking its cue from the organization of a local Masonic lodge. But by the 1780s, the society came under fire from German Freemasons who followed the Rosicrucian model. So we're going to get into the Rosicrucians too. We're going to get into all this in further episodes. Branded as an anti-religious, anti-monarchical movement, the Illuminati were outlawed by Bavarian Elector Karl Theodor in 1785. At that point, the Illuminati would have faded from history, were it not for just 4 years later, France was rocked by the French Revolution, which the Illuminati kicked off. In its wake, certain authors, including Jesuit priest Augustine, anytime it says Jesuit, yeah, they're not good, man. Just my little tip of the hat to you. The Jesuits are not good. Argued that the Illuminati and the Freemasons were behind the conspiracy to overthrow the French state, which they were, and they overthrew the English during the American Revolution. Just saying. So anyone who's anti-Illuminati and bashing on the Illuminati, you would not be free in this Masonic experiment they call the New Atlantis, aka America, if it were not for the Illuminati. So, no offense, you wouldn't even be a free man under constitutional law if it were not for the Illuminati and the Freemasons. So if you're that anti-Illuminati and Freemason, get out of America, because we are literally, the only reason America exists is because of them, as far as like constitutional law and all that. Other writers took up this idea, and by the 19th century, the Illuminati's reputation had devolved to that of a deeply sinister and subversive movement dedicated to political anarchy and revolution. Some 20th century authors even suggested that the movement had inspired Vladimir Lenin to plot the Russian Revolution. Wouldn't be surprised. They seem all about revolutions. Modern works of fiction, including Angels, we're not getting into that, Angels and Demons. We might do a whole episode on that just in general. But yeah, that's the Illuminati. And in further episodes, since I brought up the Order of the Golden Dawn and Freemasonry, I'm going to do episodes on those two secret societies individual. I don't want to keep going because I'm wore out. I've been working all day, and I kind of want to comprise each secret society into an individual episode each. So, thank you for listening to Conspiracy Corner Podcast.
We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.